Okay, welcome back. We are now at the video tutorial that we're doing a cover for the 8x8 album Sicilia by Bella. And for an 8x8 pages that I've done, I'm going to do the cover at 8.5 by 8.5. Okay, so I have two 12 by 12 chipboard. I'm going to cut them. I need two pieces that are 8.5 by 8.5, and the spine will be 3.5 by 8.5. Okay, so this is one. Second. Okay. Okay, I got my pieces, and now I'm going to grab some 12 by 12 craft color cardstock. And these are pretty lightweight. It says 78 pounds, but I think they're even less than that. I don't think they're 78 pounds. Okay. So we're going to attach both of them together for the spine and wrap it. Okay, well, before we wrap, we're going to apply a little bit of okay, what do I want to wrap it with? Can do some of that. It's a little fabric book binder. Okay, and I'm going to need two pieces, 8.5, cut into 1 inch. Let's see, we need 8.5 is 16, 19. 17. We'll do 17. We'll do 17. Okay. This is just fabric bookbinding tape. Using the grids on my mat, I'm measuring about 1/4 inch, a little bit more maybe than 1/4 inch. Just a teeny bit more. Okay. This has adhesive on one side, so I'm just going to hold it. I'm holding the wrong side. That's not going to help me. Okay. Here we go. Around. Okay. Do the same thing on this side. You want your space between the two boards to be minimum double the size of your chipboard, and I recommend adding just a smidgen more. So my chipboard is 1/8 of an inch thick, so the space between them has to be minimum of 1/4 of an inch, and I think I have a little bit more. Now there are many different ways to reinforce the folding area where the spine and the cover pages meet. Yeah, a lot of people use Tri-Vac or fabric. I sometimes use duct tape. That works too. Yeah. I suggest just try different ones and see what works for you, what's easier for you to use. You know, cost effective. Obviously bookbinders will, you know, cost you a little more. Okay, this is not the end of the world. It's a little off there. And the important thing to remember when you're using something like that is that you want it sturdy over time, and whatever you use, glue you use to cover it, has to be glue that will adhere to the tape, to the fabric. Not every glue will adhere to it, so test it first to make sure that it's actually properly the adhesive works on it. And now we're gonna put those over here on the back. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna put a lot of tape and a lot of glue Again, try to make sure that the tape is as close as possible to the edges. Again, there are different methods, and some people use wide sheets of the double-side score tape. Some really use 2 inches, 3 inches, or full pages of it. I don't think it's necessary. I think if you're using enough on the edges, if you do the edges really well, and you make sure that the center of it is secure, that should be good. Okay, so first thing I'm doing is all of my edges. And here I'm using the wider version of my score tape, which is 5/8. I step up from the 1/4 inch. This is as wide as I go. The second step that you're going to take is iron the tape really well. Just press on it to make sure it adheres really well to the chipboard under it. Okay. Let's start taking this off. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this, I'm just gonna push it forward a little bit. And I'm gonna take my 2 sheets and I'm going to tape them together. It's just gonna be easier this way. You don't really have to do it. You can just place them next to each other. That will work too. All right, so now I'm going to take my liquid glue and I don't want to have it bulge too much over it, so I'm not going to put a lot except on the fabric. On the fabric I want glue. So I'm just going to put it on the sides of the fold, not in the center. You don't want it inside the fold itself. Okay, that's good enough. I'm going to take this and place it in the center. And it doesn't really have to be even, you just have to have about an inch on the sides. Oopsie. And go ahead and press everything. There you go, I'm defining my edges. I'm going to go ahead and cut the excess. And I'm going to cut my corners. And you want to cut the corner and leave a 1/4 inch from the point where the chipboard is. Okay, like that. Doesn't have to be scientific. You can cut it like in a square, however you like. To me, it doesn't matter as long as the corner is covered, because I'm going to cover it again anyway. All right, so now I'm going to go around and define my folds. Okay. Okay. I'm taking my tape again. I don't want it to go on the fold there. Okay. Okay, first I'm going to do this side, the long one. Oh, that was my Cortana on my computer. She's listening to me. Okay. I have like a little something here. Okay, don't want anything bulging out. Slightly do this here. Okay. Do the other side. Okay, and now we're going to work on the corners and the sides. So we have a little bit of an overlap here, and we're going to fold the corners onto themselves like that. And then when you wrap it, you're gonna have a corner that's covered and wrapped. So you just want to put some glue here. Make sure those folds stay on themselves. Okay. And then you wrap it around. And now your corner is all covered. And that's what you want. Okay, let's do the second one. Now what we're going to do is we're going to build the hinge. We're going to apply the hinge, and after that we're going to cover the corners, not the corners, we're going to cover the spine and the rest of the areas. Okay, I still have the tape here, which is fine. Okay. Okay, so let's see how we want to do this. Okay. So my pages are 8 inches long, and I like to do the hinge a little bit less than 8 inches because, you know, I don't like it to be all the way to the end. It'll be difficult to attach. So instead of 8, let's do it 7.5. Okay, so we're going to first cut it to 7.5 lengthwise, like that. So I have 3.5 inch spine. I have 4 pages, and they're quite heavy. I want the hinges to be well, if I do them 1 inch, it's going to be a little bit too much. No, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm not going to have enough paper, so I might have to add, which is okay. I can add. It's not a big deal. I can add. I want them to sit on a 1 inch hinge, which is quite large. 1-inch hinge. Yes. Okay. So my first one is going to be 1 inch. And this is going to be 3/4 of an inch. I'll turn it around. I'll do 1 inch. I'll turn it around again. And I'll do 1 inch. Oops. Here we go. It's over here. Okay, so when I put together those two 1 inches, I have a hinge, you see? And the paper will sit right there on top of it. And 3/4 of an inch is the space between. These are probably going to be attaching to another piece of paper. Okay, so one is done. Let's do the other one. So I'm doing a space again. It's 3/4 of an inch space. I'm turning it around. And I am measuring 1 inch. I am turning it around. And I'm measuring 1 inch. Well, this is my 1 inch and my 1 inch for the hinge, and my 3/4 for the space. So I need the space again, 3/4. I'm turning it around and doing 1 inch from the last one, so it's here. Let's turn it around again and we'll do 1 inch again. Let's see where we are. Okay. So this one folds this way. This one folds this way and this way. Give it a little definition. Little Charlotte, you look tired. You should go to sleep. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to attach something here more because I want a little bit, I want this to go over a little bit here. I want this to be here. And I want this flap to go over the fold a little bit. Okay, so this will go here. I'll take another piece of paper. And I need this, we said, at 7.5. So let's score this one at 1 inch here. And we're just gonna attach it together. Okay. So far, so good. And I think I'm just going to use 2 half-inch ones. I don't know if I want to do this, like do it like that. Here's my 1 inch tape. This is my 5/8. And okay, I have my new one here. Still have a little teeny bit left. Okay, so you're taping one of the 1 inch sides. Only one of them because they're going to attach together. And it doesn't really matter which side you tape, the right one or the left one. Makes no difference. Let's start with this. And the additional piece. Okay. Take the tape off here. And this is not good. Okay. Here are my hinges. So one side, because of the addition, is a little longer, but it doesn't bother me. It really makes no difference. And I have my 4 1-inch hinges with 3/4 of an inch in between. Now the next thing you want to do is apply it to the center. Take a little bit off here. This was kind of stupid to put it on the other side. I should not have done that. Should have put it on the reverse side. So if you're watching this video, don't do this. Because now I have to cover it, and it's one step that I really don't need. Okay, so I'm going to do a combination of tape and glue for this one. So I'm taping them across, and I'm going to tape around the edges here. Table is driving me nuts. Okay. Now I'm going to drown it in glue, and I literally mean drown it in glue. I want a lot of glue there. And I'm going to put glue here, but again, not in the grooves. I don't want glue in the grooves. And glue around on the fabric. And be liberal. You can add more glue on the tape, it's fine. Okay. And now we're just gonna let it dry. Okay.